We're live.
Great. Welcome to the October 26, 2023 meeting of the University of Rhode Island Board of Trustees Governance Committee. The meeting is being held in person with committee members participating remotely as well. At this time, I will conduct a roll call attendance to determine if a quorum is present. Please clearly respond present via WebEx or present in person when your name is called. I am present via WebEx, Courtney Nicolato. Jay Placencia.
Present via WebEx.
Charles Fogarty.
Present via WebEx.
Monica Garnes. Matthew Lenz.
Present via WebEx.
Joseph Matthews.
Present in person.
Robert Wagan.
Present via WebEx.
David Capriel. President Parlange. Board Chair Margot Cook and Vice Chair Armand Sabatoni are also present and participating as invited guests. A quorum is present, and I'll call the meeting to order. A reminder to all members for the benefit of our audience and for the note taker, please clearly identify yourself whenever you comment, make a motion, or a second to a motion. Participants using the WebEx are required to keep their cameras on as remote members, and all persons present at the meeting location must be clearly visible and audible to each other. At this time, I'd like to acknowledge that the University of Rhode Island occupies the traditional homeland of the Narragansett Nation and the Niantic people. The first order of business is the approval of the minutes. May I have a motion that the Governance Committee approve the minutes of the September 18th, 2023 committee meeting?
Charlie Fogarty, so moved.
Matt Lenz, seconded.
Great. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll ask for a voice vote. All in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The ayes have it. The motion to approve the minutes for the September 18th, 2023 committee meeting is approved. The next item on the agenda is item number 2, which is discussion items. There's a number of discussion items, no actions necessary on these discussion items, and some merely are updates. And so item 2A is the conflict disclosure research update. As we spoke about at our last meeting, the administrative team at the University of Rhode Island is creating that conflict disclosure summary, listing the responses that the board members provided to the Rhode Island Ethics Commission on the latest annual financial disclosure forms. The disclosure summary will be presented to this committee at our February meeting. Also, as a reminder, our ethics training is planned for the April board meeting, preceding the next due date for all board members to complete their disclosure form. So big thank you to the team, to Michelle and Alyssa and many others who have put this together to ensure that we continue to provide best practices and standards related to our work here at URI. Item 2B, this is the establishment of board goals. We did have a very short timeline between the two, and so because of that compressed timeline, we're going to defer that item to the next governance committee meeting where Vice Chair Placencia will provide us an update at that time. So thank you, Jay, for taking the lead on that. 2C is regarding the preparation of our 2023 URI Board of Trustees annual report. So as a reminder, and I do see President Parlange here, welcome, President. I see that in our annual report, what we do is really to provide the governor a great update on the board's activities, the various different things, and also sharing a little bit about board members themselves. How are we participating on the board? What are we, what are we chairing, or whatever committees we're on, and what type of activities we're really proud of as a board to have completed. And so appreciative to Chelsea and the team as we're thinking through a couple of things. One is we don't want to be duplicative to some of the great things that are already happening through the communications team and in concert with Chelsea, and which is the annual report of the entire university. And so I think in the past we've kind of created this big piece of material piece for the governor. I think we've determined that really that could be a memo to the governor rather than kind of a more kind of communications developed graphic designed piece. And so Chelsea, I don't know if there's anything that you want to add around kind of how you all are thinking about this moving forward.
Yeah, Courtney, I think you're totally right that, being able to share with the governor and all of our elected officials kind of the good work that's happening at URI. And I think the goal would be to move towards kind of that big annual report that can then be used for multiple purposes, but obviously using the lens of, working with elected officials and having, is it a memo? Is it a one pager of highlights from the board that can accompany that annual report? But I think having that kind of main university piece will be helpful for many purposes, I think, for all of us. So, and I think it would correlate with the academic calendar too. So looking at something that would come out kind of after the budget and, probably end of the year, summertime.
Great, thank you, Chelsea. And the memo we're talking about for the board will probably go out earlier just because of the timing to which appointments happen. And so,
Yeah.
But we want to make sure that we're optimizing all the great work already happening. So thank you, Chelsea, for taking on the lead of that role and making sure that we provide the best resources possible for our elected officials. Really appreciate it. The next item on the agenda is item number 3, which is action items. And so we have a few action items. Actually, we have one action item. And so this one is a review of the proposed amendments to the university policy on the awarding of honorary degrees and the recommendation for approval to the URI Board of Trustees. Again, this is a mere update. And so we talked about it at our last meeting, but I'll defer to Kara or Dan. I think I see both of them here to provide an explanation of this agenda item.
Thanks, Courtney. This is Dan. I'll take care of this. Good morning, everyone. This is this draft policy, as Courtney said, this is an update. So this policy is actually up for a scheduled review. You saw the draft of this at the Governance Committee meeting on September 18th, and it also went to the Academic Affairs and Research Committee as an informational item on September 14th. So I'm just going to run through quickly the changes to the draft. There have been no changes since the last time that it passed in front of this committee. That's one thing that's important to know. But to the changes compared to the current draft are that there's new language here expressing the intent for recipients to have exceptional achievements, to serve as inspiring examples, and to bring honor to the university. Additionally, recipients are no longer required to appear at the main ceremony, but rather at, quote, an appropriate or agreed upon commencement ceremony. So that provides some flexibility in the policy. And then there's a minor adjustment to eligibility. Faculty, staff, students, and political office seekers and holders remain ineligible for 3 years now after the conclusion of their term or service. The current version doesn't have anything about, following the conclusion of your service. It only points to the current faculty, staff, students, etc. So that's it. And as I said, there are no changes compared to when this passed in front of this group and the Academic Affairs and Research Committee about a month. 2 months ago.
Great.
Happy to take any questions if there are any.
Any URI staff or anybody who wants any other comments to make before we ask the committee for questions? Okay. All right, great. Any questions from the committee? Hearing none. Thanks, Dan, and thanks, Kara, for your help. So I need, may I have a motion that the Governance Committee recommend to the Board of Trustees that we approve the proposed amendments to the URI Board of Trustees policy on awarding honorary degrees as recommended and presented?
Bob Wigan, yes.
Thanks, Bob. Can I get a second?
Charlie Fogarty, second.
Thank you, Charlie. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll ask for a voice vote. All in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The ayes have it. The motion is approved. The next item on the agenda is Charlie Fogarty's favorite, adjournment. And so may I have a motion to adjourn?
Governor Nicolato, you have beat Neil for the most efficient meeting that I've attended in my.
It wasn't a full agenda, so it's really.
Congratulations.
Is that an agreement to the motion, Charlie?
Move we adjourn.
All right. And can I get a second?
Resoundingly.
Yeah, can I get a second?
Second.
Awesome. Thanks, Jay. I'll ask for a voice vote. All in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Any opposed?
I think Charlie opposes.
Yeah, right. Any abstentions? All right, the ayes have it. The motion to adjourn is approved. The next URI Board of Trustees Governance Committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for February 2024. In the meantime, we'll see everybody at the Board of Trustees meeting next week on campus. Thanks so much, everybody.
See you all next week. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thanks.